Okay, guys, I'm gonna have one question. It's a random one. What's the biggest challenge you have at the moment? Because the investment, the projection you have, I just didn't hear the number of years that you have it. Is it the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Maybe you said it, maybe you have it there in the paper, but what's the biggest challenge at the moment that you are facing in achieving that development plan you have in mind? It's a very relaxed, open question. And then, guys, it's gonna go this way.
The biggest challenge that we're facing in Sohar, and I think it's something that keeps in my mind, is trying to develop a green hydrogen corridor, trade corridor between Sohar/Oman and the potential markets. But I think it's a challenge. Why? Because I think green hydrogen is a victim of the mismatch between the political aspiration and the market development. It's fully left now, or almost fully left to the market. So there's no political support, subsidies, trying to push for the development of the supply chains. Rather, it's fully left to the market, and the market is trying to pick up, but it's facing challenges. So I think this is the biggest challenge with regards to ramping up the global trade, trying to make Sohar help with the global decarbonization agenda. It's that mismatch, I would say, between the political standing and the market aspiration.
Thank you. Guys, audience, let's make a deal here. While our panel speaker, they sharing their view, if you have a question, raise your hand.
Thanks, Ali.
Even you.
So first of all, thanks to Trevor and the TMS team. I think it's an absolute amazing conference, and it's indeed a privilege to be in this room and listen to these visionaries. My question is to Imran, if I may, please. Imran, Dubai Dry Docks is an institution, or Dry Docks World as you call it now. And everybody who's been in Dubai has visited your shipyard, and I've been there 20 years ago as a paint inspector, and I've seen 20 odd cherry pickers blasting and painting a ship, and the way you've transformed that to the automated system now of painting ships is quite revolutionary. But if you had a magic wand and money was not a criteria, what is the one thing that you would change in the dry docks to make yourselves more sustainable?
That one thing will be to convert completely into a hydroblasting facility. We speak a lot. In the morning also there was questions asked that we need to have a collaboration and a buy-in from every stakeholder in this whole chain. Traditionally, me being a sailor as well, we have a mindset that we need to go and do grid blasting only. But the rest part of the world is evolving, and when we talk green, we need to also, it is not that what we talk we should not practice, we should practice that. So what we are doing is we are trying to revolutionize ourselves in terms of blasting and coating activities. We are going for robotic hydroblasting activities, wherein with the old process will get rid of the grid, the logistics of the grid, the disposal of the grid, waste management of the grid, plus the activity after being automated, it is giving you advantage on the man hours which we are spending. So what we are trying to tell the clients also a story wherein we can share that benefit of man hours which we are spending with the clients. It will be an incentive for them that they will also feel that buy-in is there and they will also participate, as I was mentioning earlier. So this is one very important thing. So we have set up a vision. We have one of our technology partners. We have started dock by dock, we are going to do that. And I would, from this forum, I would like to tell the ship owners also that the traditional mindset, if they change, we can do a lot in this simple activity of coating itself.
Okay, so Imran, you have a policy in place so that you have that circular kind of an incentive and getting the right economy. Going back into this, the biggest challenge you have at the moment.
The mindset.
The mindset of whom?
The mindset of traditional ship managers. That is one big challenge. And one more challenge I have actually. The second challenge is human resource.
Human resource.
Yeah, because the mindset is completely dependent on human resource. And right from the seafarers all the way to dock workers, to shipbuilders, to ship repairers, the industry somehow has not been that attractive or that good in retaining talents. So when we look at the industry and beyond this, we are talking about 2030 and 2050, we need to prepare that generation also, because we have a big generation gap. We have old generation trying to do the technical management and the younger guys who survive for a couple of years, 5 years, and then they jump ship. So this is something which is the biggest challenge, I would say.
Catherine, you want to share your challenge as well?
Well, to be very honest, we're trying to support our customers with this sophisticated intelligence platform that helps them to operate in the high-risk areas where they will usually not go without a sophisticated approach. But my experience shows that no intelligence platform can actually substitute the provision of actual armed guards on board together with the hardening measures and armed escort services when we're talking about Gulf of Guinea. Especially when we have several West African states where the clients of ours are operating, they do need very deep, intelligent, sophisticated approach. And due to the fact that our system, besides the emission and carbon print, that's a new initiative, also gives a real-time threat and risk analysis. So while we are talking here with you, if you would be one of the membership of MARE system, you would see now in real time worldwide what's happening out there in the world basis your needs. So I think that altogether we do help our customers to go through the challenges easily.
Okay, so more of the collaboration
smooth,
side.
yes.
Kamran, what's the biggest challenge you have?
I think the biggest challenge at the moment is especially the ship lines. They are very much advanced in their decarbonization journey if they compare with the ports. I think I touched on this before also. So they have to heavily invest in catching up with the alternative fuel to be ready to serve these ship liners. And also they must work on the modern technology, like already smart vessels technologies are deployed on the ship line. So the port has to have the system that should be scalable and interoperability.
So
ensure
similar to the cold ironing, for example, you showed with that port in Europe with the passenger liner, right?
Yeah.
And then where you're referring into 2030, where every vessel has to be cold.
Yeah. So these regulations also are,
right.
I would say, driving a positive change. It will not be easy to implement. Again, required a collaboration across the sectors and industry.
I think for me, I think for all of us anyway, the major challenge we have today is that the over-regulatory environment we're living in. And I'm not talking necessarily about the new regulations or what MEPC is going to bring, or like new alternative fuels, which are going to be game changer in industry in the next 10 or 15 years. I think the world we're living today makes our life, our scope as a company is to provide a good service to our clients, right? So right now there are many disruptions on the daily service because we have to see the geopolitical situation in different countries. We have to see the sanctions list from different countries, US, Europe, UK, or like different areas. Whenever we have to make a decision, we have to take several different factors under consideration. And sometimes that creates disruptions and creates problems on our daily good service to our clients. So I think the major challenge we have if we're going to grow sustainably, as we talk about here, not necessarily like green shipping, but have sustainability and viability as a company in the next 20, 30 years, you have to be very careful whenever you make a decision, either this is for today or for the next 10 years.
Abdelkader, the risk you were touching on. I mean, when I was with my previous employer, whenever I wanted to do something, I used to put it on the risk register, just put it there. And then for people to say, and put it on a high risk, you have high, medium, low. And then to get the budget approved through the board. But that used to be my approach. But anyway, for you, what is the challenge?
Collaboration in the industry. I think there is an admission that the insurance industry can do more to reward good practice.
Do you have any cooperation and collaboration at the moment?
For example, until recently, TT Club, because as a mutual insurance company, we don't belong in the Lloyd's market. But as recently as 2 months ago, the Lloyd's market were not writing any operator who handled charcoals. But as of earlier this month, they changed their mind. Now they said that we can write risk for an operator who handle calls. On the other hand, there is acceptance that the insurance industry can do more to reward good practice. So if you are an operator that have good practice, have good risk-based management in place with regard to climate change, you should be rewarded through pricing. There is an insurance company approach, but there is no industry-wide approach yet, and I think the industry can do more to cooperate more.
Alejandro, I think here the challenges which normally you face as a researcher, I think there is from every angle. So perhaps you can.
No, I fully agree with what Abdul just said, because I think that the biggest challenge that I have faced and that we will continue to face moving forward is that stakeholders in general, and this is very understandable because we all live in a business world, stakeholders in general tend to focus on the tree that's in front of them, and they do not take the time to take 2 steps back and look at the forest. And when we're talking about sustainability, this is the biggest challenge that we have. We need to all focus on what's important. But there's, in the method of principled negotiation, there's the 3rd step is focus on interests, not positions. What's our interest? To decarbonize our industry, right? Because it benefits us all. What's our position as an individual company? How are we going to move that position so that we are able to achieve?
Is there an appetite out there? I mean,
everyone, if you talk to anyone, across the panel, everyone says yes, right? The problem is how much is going to cost me. And if my competitor is not going to, give a little bit of their revenues, utility, whatever, then why should I? Right? And this is the human condition, right?
So, Doctor, maybe, ports, they need a huge investment when it comes into that area of sustainability, etc. And, you touched on the hydrogen, etc. But what's your view there? You want to say something on this?
Indeed, and the way, so indeed, 2 steps backward so that we see the forest. I agree with that. And with that, we thought we'll open up Sohar as an open lab. So, open for ideas, for any solution integration opportunities. We're testing out, nature-based solutions for sustainability. We partner with local and international institutions. We work with local and international institutions on the white hydrogen, because we know this is an emerging, possible game changer area. After all, Oman is the biggest, is the 3rd largest producer of natural-based hydrogen in the region. So we've got a lot of demand in Sohar. So if white hydrogen comes into play, it could be a game changer. And we've established a joint team between ourselves and the partners, local and international, to look into AI and how can we model and accelerate the development of white hydrogen for the use of industry. A 3rd one I can give is yes, historically, and by definition, we're so much into logistics industries, but then we open up the corridor to explore seaweed farming. We understand that seaweed has a lot of potential to absorb CO2, and that can be used to offset a lot of emissions. The product itself, seaweed, has a lot of advantage and can be a feedstock for the food cluster that we have. Can be produced, can be used to produce the cosmetics, energy, and so on and so forth. So in short, our approach was open up Sohar. Let's see all the ideas. Let's start small, baby steps maybe, and then scale up fast. Let's develop the learning curve early. Maybe let's fail. It's okay. And then if we fail, we learn. And our role as a port and free zone management company is to aggregate the demand where possible. So if there is a potential use out of this idea, then we aggregate the demand so that we de-risk the investments when the decision is ready to move on. So that's basically what we are doing to really facilitate and push for innovation.
So I'm going to spin again another question, which already it's part of the questions, and it's more about the cooperative collaboration and some examples of that, and perhaps, we sort of listen to you in this area. Imran, why cooperation or collaboration is an important element really to achieve whatever we need to do, and then perhaps to give an example that you're already doing.
Yeah. So basically, as we touch base in the morning as well, this is a vicious cycle. You know, it's ship owners, it is a class, it is IM shipbuilders, OEMs who are doing research on various gadgets which can help and support. But as shipyard, especially when we talk about ship repairs, there are a lot of practices. As I was giving some examples when I was talking, that there are practical approaches in terms of how you do the job, or how you execute some kind of repair in a repair industry or a shipbuilding industry. So there is a lot of collaboration required in that aspect also. So as Drydocs, we have done, we have become a partner in something called Green Global Shipyard Alliance. There are 5 yards in this, ourselves, a yard from China, from Turkey, from Spain, and Germany, wherein we are trying to see how we can share knowledge, share best practices, share technology, share certain processes which will actually help us contribute in terms of reducing our emissions and trying to go more
And
green.
that has made this optimization
Yeah.
kind of psyche within
Sure,
the
yes,
system, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that it has some financial
Definitely,
benefits
yes.
and so on. Catherine?
Right. For us, collaboration and cooperation is actually vital, especially talking from the security and safety background, as we are very closely collaborating with the NATO forces and all the naval ships that are patrolling Red Sea area, Bab al-Mandab Strait, that is a vital line for major shipping lines when they are proceeding towards Mediterranean. And we had multiple cases when one of our clients' vessels was attacked either by drones or by aerial vehicle, and we have saved crew, because for us people is the priority and then come assets. And they have assisted us by all means. Together with the intelligence system, it's always sharing data is quite important in terms of route and threat assessment, to understand what we are going to face and what are the consequences of the taken route, for example. So for us, it's quite vital.
Kamran?
Okay, so I think I'll bring here like as a holistic approach, like 3 sectors. Maritime sector, we are all talking about it, is a backbone of global trade. 90% of the global trade running through this sector. Logistics, they actually optimize the entire supply chain. And then we cannot ignore the energy companies. They are fueling the transition with all the alternative fuels and other. These 3 sectors cannot be decarbonized in isolation. So I think they need shared infrastructure, data, and investment strategy. So everyone has to work on this to achieve this. You know, it will not happen in isolation. I would insist on this.
Theo?
I think collaboration is more than important today. I mean, as everybody else said on the panel, I mean, everything is becoming so complex when it comes to regulations on every aspect, right? Green shipping, legal requirements, everything. So I don't think that there is a single body that knows everything. So we have to share information and we have to work together. I mean, for us as a flag state, our major partners, for example, except from our clients, owners, whatever, it's like the class societies. And when I joined this industry 25 years ago, I mean, the class societies, as you know, have been recognized by us to do all the statutory work for us, issuing certificates for different conventions, SOLAS or MARPOL. And when I joined the registry, I remember like we used to communicate, it was a very minimal level of communication. The class societies would do everything on their own, right? I mean, and somebody will call us only if there is a major issue or whatever. Now that the relationship we have with class societies have been totally changed. I mean, we communicate very constantly. We give them an advice. We ask for their advice or feedback on many different cases. We work together and the shipyards with different joint development projects, because for us it's very important to get aware of new technologies or new fuels or new ideas on board ships on the construction side. But outside of getting experience, that will help us also when we have to regulate in a few months or in a year from now on new technologies, to create an environment which is certain for all the industry stakeholders.
Alejandro?
So, of course, collaboration is key. The consortium that I was lucky enough to represent had companies from the energy sector, from the engine sector, from the OEM in terms of aircraft manufacturing. We actually launched a new center for renewable and advanced fuel technologies for aviation And we had Etihad, Emirates, ADNOC, ENOC, so people that compete with each other. And I'm going to say something that may not be too popular, but I do think that the government needs to participate. And the government needs, industry is in some ways, many ways, easier to collaborate because, you know, everyone has a business objective. But then when you bring governments, and I guess IMO is an organization of governments, ICAO is an organization of governments. I've been involved with ICAO for over 15 years. So the negotiation pace in these instances is very different. And so it's, you know, and ICAO, IMO, I'm sure, brings industry, and, you know, industry participates within these organizations. But I think that the local or the state governments, the governments of the countries, need to step up and collaborate more with industry.
So, you know, when we talk about collaboration, is, you know, the wish. We want these bodies to come together and work, but then also there is certain actions that needs to be taken. For example, if I go to Dr. Abdullah, ports, there's certain actions needs to be taken for it really to reach the sustainable goal that it has as an aspiration. So what are the kind of actions the port needs to do?
So indeed, the way we approach things is we make it really objective focused. So let's, if I can give an example, for example, for the shore power. Shore power is, we consolidated the opportunity that indeed this can be something of an investment to somebody, to a company or a consortia. So we kind of made the pre-feasibility from our side because we understand that these numbers will be required by our partners. And then we started inviting technology providers, financiers to come to the port. And indeed they came twice. We took them to the terminal, to the operators in the terminal. They had first-hand of a discussion, of a speech with them. They clarified things. And then we framed up the deal most recently.
So you created the opportunity.
Indeed, that dialogue, I think that open dialogue with transparency, because, and I agree to the panel here, is there is a lot of moving parts in this. There's a lot of unclear aspects. And indeed, unless we have that transparent, clear dialogue with our partners, then things will really be kind of not moving the way we want to see them. So that's the model that we're seeking, that we're really practicing. The second one is indeed in some of the major strategic projects, such as the white hydrogen that I talked about, which is something major. We involved the government. To your point, we involved the government and the state-owned companies. So indeed, this is our plan. Let's have the dialogue early. Let's see how can we develop this in a certain fashion, hopefully accelerated, but let's agree beforehand before we move on.
How is that? But how's the mindset as you're going in that direction? Sometimes there is a will, and sometimes they feel they are forced. Sometimes, no, you got somebody who's not just having the will, is actually, he believes in what this matter is. So what is the situation in general normally?
So indeed, you would see indeed the spectrum of the people and of the mentalities that you've stated. In general, I think the industry and the bankers and the financiers are a bit ahead compared to the regulators and the government. So it still face some resistance for a change, especially in the model of approaching things. But I think, having that, getting everybody on board with time together, I know this can sound ideal, but this is the approach also we're taking with the government. We take as much as we can people on board with us as we move on. So things are changing, a bit slow, but they're changing.
If I might go to Abdelgader, so therefore similar on the same kind of thinking, same question. I know it's not in your...
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, but what are the actions that, when it comes into this, the insurance space that we need to, certain actions to take? I know we have Catherine here from the security. They talk in sustainability. You're trying also to say, okay, this is the area we should go. But what are the actions?
Look, in terms of what we do at TT Club, as a mutual insurer, we collect the premium, we put them in a pot, and we pay claims from these pots. That's the concept of mutual insurance. And whatever left, we invest it. So our investment strategy is that only to invest in companies that sustainable and environmental friendly. So we focus on sustainability from that angle. We also focus on information sharing. That's very important. As an insurance company, you have two hats. You have the underwriting of risks and also the education. You want the industry to be educated, to prevent losses, risk management, and we focus a lot on this. So we collect data from the industry and we formulate what we call educational resources. And that's very important, and that comes to the same point of cooperation and information sharing. And also, we deter bad practices. So for example, we have a policy not to write any board or any logistic operator risks that handle coal, for example. And we do our best to reward good practices. So there is a lot we can do, and there is more we can do.
Catherine, maritime security,
well,
sustainability.
we think that insurers have to be way stricter to the maritime stakeholders, especially kidnap and ransom. But on a side note, I have to say that unless something is on obligatory basis and actually officially regulated, the maritime stakeholders, they're not willing to change or to make an extra step. They are still working on a path of an old-fashioned shipping industry. That's what we were discussing the other day with colleagues of mine. So at the end of the day, as long as those regulations are not bureaucratic but actually benefiting the industry, then we are all for it. We are talking about maritime security perspective. The industry has been quite underestimated because stakeholders, they have so many issues in front of them that they have to face on daily basis that they sort of, close their eyes on other aspects. Nevertheless, when there was big hoodies issues and everyone was just going around, we have seen lots of losses in the industry, not only for the shipping companies and the operators, we also have seen the deviation, we have seen the freight rates coming up. So industry is interrelated and interconnected, all with each other. So unless we keep it all as a whole unified system and learn to balance, then we are going to succeed to build sustainable shipping.
Good, good. Kamran, I think I should have connected what Dr. Abdullah was saying, and it's about the investment that ports should do.
So I think we need to look for like all the alternative sort of investment. Ports are, again, extremely complex. Some are operated by the governments, operators. There are a lot of stakeholders involved. And what we are advising, especially some of the clients, to go for like alternative type of operating model, bringing more and more stakeholder on concessions, and also involve the PPP. That also solves somehow all this investment issues. So there are various ways to deal with this, and I think ports need to think out of the box and try new things. And I think that was very successful in few, like I would give example of like the DP World and other. So their model is extremely successful, and also even in KSA also, like they have a lot of concession to different operators.
Dr. Abdullah, you wanna add into what he was saying? You're looking and nodding your head. You wanna say something here?
No, I second what he's saying. Is that to de-risk investments, to make things clearer for the investor, I think things needs to be quantifiable, verifiable. So ability to verify things and how the investors can retain their investments, and maybe looking for the new models of PPPs that would really get us really along the way. In the way, for example, just to complement what he's saying, the way we do this in Sohar is we've got Sohar Net Zero Alliance. So we've got an alliance of the major industries in Sohar. And if there is any cutting across opportunity, let's say for CCUS, this is what we are investigating as we speak.
CCUS, that's the carbon
capture. It's the carbon capture, utilization, and storage. we've made together with them, because they are ultimately the end beneficiaries. So together with them, we've made two consortiums, one on the capture side of the port and one on the national infrastructure to take the CO2 all the way to the oil and gas fields. So, the thinking was, what technology do we require and how do we de-risk all the investments and at what time frame and where do we start and what are the scenarios on the table, and maybe, and I think most likely, what would be the incentives that are required from the government. So it's a major kind of undertaking, and as an umbrella, we're using Sahar Net Zero Alliance to really de-risk and accelerate things.
So now I want to go into the AI side and how it is, or let's put, basically it's an enabler into the sustainability journey. And Theo, perhaps you could share how this can be the solution.
Yeah, you were talking to an old-fashioned guy now, but I'll take your question. Yeah, I think it will help. We are at early stages on the AI now, I think. Some of the companies, as you know, especially that they operate or trading ships, they're using AI on optimizing their internal procedures, right? I mean, especially ship owners and ship managers. I still believe we are on an early stage. I mean, if you ask me personally, I'm more of a, I believe more in persons and human resources.
So therefore, the digital solutions which enable...
I think they will supplement good resources. One thing that all the companies have to do, and in particular what the agencies have to do, is we need to invest on, first of all, on resources to look at sustainable shipping, because the environment is changing. We have to do more inspections, proper technical assessment. We need to have like different teams working on renewable energy or gas, clean gas energy as well, and safe regulation. So we need to have like expertise and experienced people to working in those fields. But at the same time, it's important to invest, like you say, on the AI or new technologies as well and proper systems. But again, AI is not going to save the world. AI is going to help us. AI is going to help us to optimize and operate in a better way in the future. Go to sustainable shipping as well, or have better systems. You will still need proper, experienced, skilled workers, human resources. That's really important, and I don't think we should miss it as we move forward.
Imran?
With the AI, basically, as a shipyard, we are venturing into how we can optimize our asset management. The asset utilization, running hours, is something which drives your major overalls, your 10,000 hours servicing, your 5,000 hours servicing and all. But if you look at the spread out of assets, they are not utilized properly. Ideal times are varying because so many assets are there and there is no control on that. So we are using this kind of data to see how we can optimize the asset utilization. Based on those asset utilization digits, we are trying to see how the service durations can be extended or expanded. Spare inventory management is aligned accordingly. So this is one advantage. Second advantage is with AI, we are trying to organize our whole process of, example is one pipe fabrication, for example, and managing of the, so let's say, flanges to elbows to actual welding of the pipe sets and the dispatch. So we are trying to utilize how the drawing can be mapped. You can extract the stuff from the drawing. It is a copier, smart copier. It can identify, it can release a material order, a BOM for the full specification, and it can trace it right from inventory control to the final inspection. So it reduces a lot of movement of material or movement of what you produce from different parts of the yard or any kind of venture. Yeah.
Catherine?
Well, I absolutely believe in AI, and I have to say that's a very proactive and big enhancement to the industry. What AI can do, no human can do within the certain time frame. I think that's an amazing, efficient approach towards the industry, and it does help with lots of challenges. Indeed, there should be people that can operate it and put a certain input to have the result, but I think the future is after AI.
And the digital solutions, of course,
Absolutely.
that you have in place that can
Absolutely.
enable you further in that regard. Kamran?
Yeah, I think especially I will bring like some of my engineering experience, the back of the day. So almost for last 5 years, I think everyone heard of it. So they have implemented widely the building information modeling. That is actually a digital twin. So you can implement right from your design stage, construction, even you can do your full asset management with that. This is digital twin is really, like your model that you can see the things even before it constructed. The other important I would touch on, we need a future-proof workforce. In this era of tech and AI, we cannot ignore the human factor of the industry. So they should be digitally literate and have green skills. So that is important factor. Yeah, I would say.
Alejandro and Abdelkader, anything you want to add on that space?
No, I mean, as Theo was pointing out, and the other fellow panelists, I think optimization of how we use different things. For example, in the production of synthetic fuels, e-fuels, when you have downtimes, there's going to be a boundary where AI will be very efficient at handling the amount of information that is generated from one side and on the other side, and being able to manage that in the most efficient way. And for example, also systems, systems are being implemented all over the place in agriculture. When I was talking about feedstocks, making sure that you are able to feed the plants the right amount of fertilizer, the right amount of water, et cetera, all of that will be managed by AI and will increase the yields and will potentially increase our ability to produce these alternative fuels.
Abdelkader?
AI for insurance company is, in my view, is a godsend. Insurance companies sit on tons of data, whether it's claim data or risk-related data, and that machine will come in and analyze this data for the sake of the industry, to educate the industry about the future, and also predict the future in terms of where a certain port is going. And so it's an amazing gadget. But however, I will add that you can have an AI. If AI operate in silo, in isolation, is not going to achieve its potential. We come back to the same point: cooperation and then information sharing.
Yeah, Doctor.
Can I just share? If I were to answer the question 12 months ago, maybe I would have given an abstract, generic answer. But then more recently, I started to realize indeed the real potential of an AI and what does AI could mean to the industry. So we've recruited a very genius, smart youngsters, and they are really into the analysis and building the sophisticated, multidimensional, multi-factor models for white hydrogen, for example. So they've specifically aggregated from open source and some of the data that they could tap into of where could be the potential for white hydrogen in Oman. So the model produced graphical outputs that tells, for example, in this area, there's a potential for white hydrogen. For someone coming from oil and gas like me, who has been developing oil and gas fields for most of my lifetime, then I know this process takes anything between 2 to 3 years, but minimum 2 to 3 years. 2 years minimum, lots of resources, lots of capital, to explore, to put seismic to the ground, to appraise, and to reach to that stage that indeed there could be something for oil or gas in that area. Now, when the models were produced by the team, we went to the site with on-site measurements, and it just proved success.
Wow.
So anything outside that circle did not have any shows. Anything within that circle, there is shows. So really impressive. And of course, it's sophisticated, reduced the time frame from anything 3 years to a month maybe.
Yeah, there's so many examples about the digital solutions and how they can help the person really to perform and in the best way. For example, in the car industry, adaptive gear system, based on the behavior of the user of the car, and the system, without you knowing, starts to develop and customize itself to suit you as an end user. YouTube, law firms, what's the, if you want to search up to how many court ruling that has come regarding XYZ, and then imagine, you get all these court rulings, and then the basis, and then you could go into the analysis, and to develop a thesis in this direction, it's perfect. Go into the audience, any question?
So, as we all know, the Eastern Mediterranean is critical for maritime trade. Though countries like Syria rely almost entirely on land transport, mainly trucks and highways, which are carbon intensive and now almost severely damaged. But as the country eventually moves toward reconstruction, what innovative and sustainable transport models could be adopted to connect and align Syria with decarbonization goals?
To whom you want to ask the question?
Anyone who is willing to answer.
Who would like to answer this question?
So her report.
Do you want to ask it again, make it
I'll summarize
much clearer? Yeah.
Yeah, so Syria, a country like war struck, mainly depending on land transport and carbon-intensive transport, how can it connect itself with regional climate and decarbonization goals?
Okay, so a country like Republic of Syria, right? Republic Democratic of Syria, I think.
Yes.
And how a country in that status today, reach a sustainable position, or let's say the sustainability aspiration position, if they want to put the plan. They have to do A, B, C, D. A bit of a big task, really, maybe, Doctor?
Yeah, from my perception, indeed, it's a case specific, but there needs to be an understanding of the demand hubs for those logistics. So where is the demand and what kind of demand? So demand hubs and demand types, and of course superimposing this with the energy sources, because after all, talking about sustainable transport or decarbonized transport, and we have to superimpose the demand and the types of demand and those hubs with the types of energy. And then from there, I think we can decide whether it will be inland EV, for example, or inland electric mobility or electric transportation, or it's a low carbon, clean, for example, railway, all the way to the ports at the sea, and from there, of course, connecting to the world. It's a very kind of case specific, but I think there needs to be a kind of an understanding of what's on the ground.
Okay. Anybody else want to?
Yeah. Basically, from a DP World perspective, DP World has just ventured into Syria. They have taken over control of one of the ports, and as in the morning session, Shahab was defining about how EV and some other gadgets are put in task and how they are collaborating with industry experts in trying to reduce and make it a more efficient and greener concept of operations here. Something similar will be mapped there, but it will take quite some time, because the land logistics connectivity is something which, as we all know, that DP World has moved on from just shipping port operations to logistics and customer to customer kind of operation. So this same will be pasted into Syria if the operations are safe, sound, running ahead of time.
Okay, so for sustainability development, it's a triangle: society, economy, and environment. And these three, they are the basis, but for you to get even more understanding, clear, sharp, to the point, go to the United Nations website, look at the UN Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17, and they are perfect to the point, and they are continuously updated. If you want to go and see it, then it talks about every aspect of the sustainability development of that micro or holistic. Right, any other question?
Hi, I am from Alliance Sons Marine. We have a ship repair yard here in Abu Dhabi. We operate floating docks here. So last year I attended this conference. I heard from Dubai Dry Docks about their initiatives about robotic blasting. And when I go back to my yard, we also contacted Dubai Dry Docks, the HSE VP who had came, and he guided us from where they have taken and how we should proceed and all. So the most common thing what I hear from last year and today is like collaboration. So all the people who joined this conference and all the companies who joined, like in 365 days we meet once to know about all the initiatives. Can there be such a platform where all the companies are connected together and we know all the initiatives, we are connected 365 days with each other, and like some incentive or rewards to the company who has contributed more for throughout the year, so that even the employees of the companies will get incentive, and they will, for collaboration thing, what we talk, this will be a good step, I believe.
Anybody wants to answer?
Let's say, as I mentioned, as a shipyard, we have done this setting up of a alliance, like 5 shipyards I mentioned earlier. So this is more to discuss and more to do knowledge sharing, technology sharing. This forum we have established per se only ship repair activities and facilities. And the whole intent of the yard, this alliance, is to share knowledge. Something similar can be put to task when it comes to the maritime fraternity.
Actually, we have exactly that in our. So if you visit ttclub.com, we have an ASG toolkit.
You get it at the website?
Where we share success stories. So we welcome stories from the industry.
The site name?
So ttclub.com, and you go to ASG toolkit, and you will hear a lot from the industry about what they're doing to help the environment.
I would like also to add that to the gentleman that asked this question, that he is welcome to join our smart platform, MariCare, where he can find all the regulations together with the history data back, and he can also do the calculations for all the emissions and together with the carbon imprint if needed.
Okay, thank you. And you know, there is Maritime Hub Abu Dhabi, and basically you have the administration, you have the industry, and that is the body which is in the middle. Perhaps Captain Arun, you would like to add something?
Thank you very much for the questions, and thank you very much, Ali, for that. So I am from AD Ports. I'm the director for the academy over there, and I just wanted to say, brilliant panelist, brilliant line of sights, and thank you all for your visions and for your initiative that you have actually done. Coming back to your questions, so we do have an organization which we call as Maritime Hub, operated by AD Ports. So Captain Saif Al-Mehri was there in the morning, and he's a person who's presiding over that. It has been managed by AD Ports under the umbrella of Captain Saif, and also by the Department of Municipality and Transport, DMT. That's very recently, yesterday, we had an organization symposium, which I heard, I think Sir Catherine was talking about, that it's very important to have collaboration between government bodies, stakeholders from different departments, and I think so it was Imran also telling about it, so how important it is to have the government bodies coming into this play and being in agreement, because ultimately we all have to speak the same language. So we had the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure representing in the meeting, talking about what exactly initiatives they have done, especially in green hydrogen and the pathways of energies, and the brilliant publications and brilliant work which they have done, with Khalifa University. We had Dr. Lourdes Bega. Again, she's a very well-known personality when it comes to hydrogen and CCUS. So yes, I mean, we do have this kind of symposium. We have about 80 members at the moment right now. It's free of charge. There is no charge to join the hub. A lot of people are there. Dubai Dry Docks is also one of the members over there in that fashion. AD Port is over there. So anyone in the platform who wants that. There is no incentivized things at the moment right now. I know you might say, what's in there for me? But again, the knowledge sharing is also one very important aspect that we learn from the conferences and symposium, and then to adopt and take this matter more forward. So anyone over there, they can just go to Maritime Hub, which is again, part of AD Ports. So thank you.
And you have the opportunity, thank you very much, Captain. And you have the opportunity to be part of the working groups, and then there you could sort of share your views, etc. Question? Yes, Ali.
Thank you very much for this great panel. It's a hypothetical question. We heard about the 17th of October and the IMO hope that the vote is going to be successful. I mean, the IMO way of thinking is that we work on consensus, so we don't expect anything to go wrong. But what if the man in the White House succeeds to convince everybody else to not vote for the decision or for the framework next month? What do you think, guys, what the impact that the decision not to vote for the framework will be on the industry?
Can I, if you allow me, gentlemen?
Yes.
Maybe Theo, yeah, go ahead.
No, I think you will say the same thing. I mean, I can't make any comment right now what's going to happen in a few weeks, right? You understand that? I mean, it's a very sensitive issue, but so your question is what's going to happen if it doesn't if it's not adopted.
If it doesn't go through, I understand this is a consensus and maybe would people willing to kind of, go for a green shipping and so on and so forth. But what if the regulation does not succeed to get this framework effective and impose it on the industry? What is it going to be a complete U-turn for the industry?
Hypothetical, Theo. It's a very hypothetical.
Yeah, I don't expect.
Could be a pizza. It could be a chicken.
I don't know. I guess.
Masala.
I was talking. Eric is also very much involved in this, and probably if it's not adopted, we'll have a new start, right? I don't know.
You're not getting out of this. You have to.
He's been in the MEPC more than anybody else in this room, so he's...
Right, you want me to say something there? Two things will happen. First off, that's not a restart of negotiations. That means that the whole house of cards collapses. You will not say, oh, we'll reconvene in 6 months and we'll try again. That's not going to happen. This is a hard reset. It's like hitting Alt Control Delete on your computer. It's a full wipe. That's the first thing. The second thing that will happen is that then you will see member states around the world starting to figure out, well, if the IMO can't do it, we have to go it alone. You're likely to see India, you're likely to see China, you're likely to see others popping up with their own schemes. So we'll get even more fragmented or more fragmented regulatory regimes around the world.
So you don't see this is going to be a complete U-turn for the industry to kind of, oh, well, this is kind of a peace of mind for us. Let's just go with conventional fuel, conventional shipping.
No.
Go ahead with full speed. Because if you see the initiative in the US, for instance, and with the drill baby drill and all the initiatives to kind of not really focus on green shipping and other alternatives. It kind of full speed in the economy. It doesn't really matter what the impact is because we don't believe in environment issues. We will withdraw from the Paris Agreement. We will do our own homework. We don't really think that this is necessary to kind of...
Well, the US might very well withdraw from not only the Paris Agreement, which they've already done, but the UNFCCC Convention, because if they withdraw, then getting back in for the US is going to be very hard. But the US is not the entirety of the world.
But this is the biggest economy in the world.
It's the biggest economy, yes, but you will, in my estimation, it will lead to greater fragmentation in that other countries will start putting up their own carbon pricing systems, just in response to the EU, because the EU will say, right, the IMO couldn't do it, we'll certainly need to tighten the fuel EU maritime to trajectories more in line with what the IMO intended to do but failed to do. The ETS is not going to go away. Other countries are going to want to have a stab at the pie. So my estimation is that it will lead to greater complexity for the main industry, not lesser complexity. Everybody's free to disagree, but that's my best guess at least.
Ali, I think it's going to continue. You know why? Because ETS is money.
Yes, that's true.
It's an untapped industry. It's a wealth which is over there. But anyway, that's an opinion.
I see what you mean,
but it's very debatable.
But again,
However, if you wanna, in my mind, the way I look at it, the balance is so big that for one country or one flag state or 28 flag states to double that balance is difficult. You got my point. If there is so many holding the plate for it to balance, only a few guys will let go. Still, we are holding the balance. It's not a problem. Any last thing to say, Alejandro?
I guess that, I was telling Theo, because he came up and he said, well, this is a very difficult thing to solve. And I said, yes, but I am an optimist. So, it is a challenge. We need to work together. But I think that sustainability is our only option. And we need to work to get it done.
Cooperation, information sharing, changing people mindset. I think that the way employees and employers are training their workforce need to change, need to adapt the thinking of sustainability. And we need to recognize that humans have a role in that journey. It's not about AI. We heard the gentleman earlier today questioning why are we over speaking about AI. I think we need to recognize that humans have a main role in driving this sustainability going forward.
Basically, collaboration is very important. That is the key to the success of this, and laying out milestones at individual business segments, shipping, repair, yards, and all.
Doctor?
So same time last year I stood up here and I said that we will do a few projects in Sohar, like the shore power, the hydropower, the LNG bunkering, some of the supply chains for the solar. And indeed, a year passed. Now things are happening, things are shaping up.
Excellent.
I can say again that for next year, if I come again, then I promise that we'll be maturing the biofuels manufacturing, the white hydrogen, and the complete supply chains on the clean technology manufacturing. The message is, let's collectively approach things differently. Let's do the baby steps. Let's not shy away from the baby steps. And I think it's the time that we think different, if we want to be different. And it's exciting, very exciting.
Thank you.
I think we have to leave this room by being optimistic about the future. I think there will be, like always, have been a smooth transition into a new world, new era. I mean, no matter what has been happening before, I mean, for the past 25 years on my business career, I mean, all these years I keep listening to all different regulations and problems and issues and obstacles, and that's going to change our industry, whatever. I mean, the industry is moving on, and we are moving ahead. So we have to keep that in mind. I think human beings and companies can always adapt. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy transition or an easy progress on towards decarbonization, but I think if we come back in this room probably in 5 years from now or 6 years from now, I mean, probably everything will be smooth and easy, and we're going to have another problem to deal in 5 years.
Indeed.
Well, I would like to say that every challenge is, at the end of the day, is an opportunity. So let's use it smartly and wisely. Let's buckle up and build sustainable shipping together.
Kamran?
Yeah, I think decarbonization across sector, I would use a word, is a multidimensional puzzle. But if I were to use a single word for collaboration, it is non-negotiable. So this is the way forward, and I think we are getting there, learning day by day, and improving something.
Excellent. So I'll tell you what I wish, as always. I mean, today I saw something fantastic. Dr. Ibrahim, CEO of Asiyat Shipping, demonstrating a perfect, example of investment. That's how long it takes for us to get the full return out of it. And previously we used to talk about so many ambitions, and we want to do this, you can't do this, and so on. Perfect. That doesn't mean there isn't other examples. In Dubai dry docks, or you have so many wealth of knowledge and information of such success stories, and perhaps maybe this wish to see in the future to talk about. Yet to see about Sohar Port as well, Doctor, maybe in the future you have something where you could demonstrate, and maybe Catherine, maybe from Lloyd's, maybe from the research center, from insurance. That's what I would like to see in the future, of something of impactful as that was, to convince people, because at the end of the day, the dollar sign, just talks for itself. Important dates, ladies and gentlemen. 30th of this month, the UAE IMO Maritime Day parallel event happening on 30th of September. You can go to the website of Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure, being the flag administration, and you can register for free. It's in Festival City, in Intercontinental Hotel. Back to Maritime Standard, you have 2 important days going ahead in October. You have 29th is the awards, and 30th is the tanker conference. And at this, I thank you very much for your patience and time, and to our speakers, thank you very much for your fantastic information, knowledge sharing, and debates.